welcome to Slay Girl Society. This is my channel. I'm Bev, and I'm here to create content to help you improve your mental health and help people thrive with mental illness. Most people my age are currently building successful careers, starting families, traveling the world, but not me. Right now, currently, I am dealing with my mental illness, and that's my day-to-day. Before I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I had no idea what it truly was. I really fed into the stigma and the fear around it and really believed that people with bipolar disorder were crazy or unstable, and I didn't really understand it. I thought it was really, like Jekyll and Hyde. One moment someone is sobbing their eyes out, the next they're really happy and hyper, and that's what I really thought bipolar disorder was. When I was diagnosed, I was really devastated, and this was because I just thought something was actually truly wrong with me and that my life was over. So I was really upset. As soon as I realized that I might have bipolar disorder, I had this heavy sinking feeling in my stomach, and I was just so overwhelmed. The day I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder was over 2.5 years ago, but I remember it quite well. It was really overwhelming. I had started to realize that maybe something was wrong with me a few days earlier. The past few months I had been feeling really happy, and normally I feel a lot of depression. So I thought that my medications were working and that things were improving, that I was on the right track to recovery. But there were small things that at first I didn't think was wrong, but people kind of pointed out. So I wasn't sleeping, but I wasn't tired. I was sleeping maybe 2 hours a night. People were telling me I was talking really fast, and sometimes they were asking me if I was on drugs, which I wasn't, but for people to think I am, something must have been wrong, but I kind of just laughed it off. I was also engaging in a lot of grandiose ideas, so one day I decided to write a book, and I sat down and I wrote 12,000 words in one sitting, which isn't normal per se, but I just thought I was really passionate and excited. I also started doing some reckless things like spending a lot of money at one time. So I was at a charity event where I was volunteering, and I was so passionate about the cause and meeting all the people, the beneficiaries of the money from the event, that I decided to, during an auction, they were asking for $500, and that's almost a whole month's rent, and I just raised my hand and I was like, me, I'll give the money. And then I was so excited. The next day, when I told my parents and my friends and my boyfriend, they were all kind of like, can you afford that? Are you sure you should have done that? And they were just asking questions, and I was started to think, like, what am I doing? Like, why am I being so ridiculous, and doing such random things and spending such large sums of money without even thinking about it at first? And so I sat down and I started to put all the puzzle pieces together, and I started thinking about, what people had said to me about, when I was speaking really fast, or, saying things that maybe were a bit odd and not part of a normal conversation, and having weird ideas. And then I just remembered someone that I had known, that I had met in a support group, who had bipolar disorder, and I was like, oh my god, I think I have bipolar disorder. And then not that I should have done this, but people always say don't go to Google, but I went to Google and I looked it up, and I was looking at the symptoms, and it seemed like it was like a checkbox, and each one I was like, check, got that, check, got that, and then I sat there and I was like, oh my god, I do have bipolar disorder. I can't diagnose myself, but I was just felt it deep in my gut. I was like, I know that this is the right diagnosis. So the next day I was at work, and I asked a friend, I was like, you come with me, I think I need to go to the hospital and speak to someone. So we went together to CAMH. She was such a kind soul, and I was so grateful to her for that day. She came with me, and she sat with me while we waited, and she even came and visited me a few times during the week following when I was an inpatient. So basically I went to the hospital, I spoke to psychiatrists, and they agreed with what I had thought in my head of maybe that I might have bipolar disorder, and they thought that I should be admitted right away because I was in a manic episode, and it could have been dangerous. So they wanted to make sure that I was okay and that I was on the right medication, and that I felt okay before I was sent home. I spent a week in the hospital. I don't remember a lot of it because I was on really heavy medication that made me really tired and really groggy. So I slept a lot of it, but I did have a lot of visitors, which really was so amazing that these people came to visit me in a psychiatric hospital, which is not a welcoming and warm place necessarily. It's kind of scary. I mean, the hospital is a very nice place and they have great facilities and they try really hard to make you feel at home, but like the fact is that you're in a psychiatric hospital, which is not a picnic or a vacation. It's scary, and it can be scary for a visitor as well. And it shouldn't be scary. I know that, there's a lot of stigma, and that's why it's scary, because people think that the people in there are truly crazy and dangerous, when really they just haven't found the right treatment. So, unfortunately, it was scary for me. I wish it hadn't been, but there were people in there who, seriously had severe mental illnesses that had not been treated properly, and they did not receive the help they need until then. So they were in crisis, and when someone's in crisis, it's really a different situation. So it's very scary to be surrounded by dozens of people who are in crisis. And so I was there for a week, and I participated in activities. There was a writing group, which was very exciting for me because I wanted to keep working on my book. But when I went to the writing group, there was actually a volunteer that I had met professionally through my job, and she was like someone that I had met in passing, but we remembered each other, and I was kind of like, oh my god, I'm in this like super low moment of my life, like I've hit rock bottom, I'm like in the hospital, and here's this person who knows me professionally, and like what if she said something to someone, because at the time I wasn't so open with my mental illness, and so that was a bit overwhelming and kind of put a damper on the activities, but I still tried really hard to like participate. I did arts and crafts and games, and I met people and talked to them. So I don't remember any of their names except I think someone named Peggy, but a lot of their faces and their personalities will stick with me for the rest of my life. And they were really some nicest people I've ever met, and I felt so bad for them because they had spent so long trying to fight their illnesses and they didn't know how, just like me. Just like being surrounded and knowing that you're in a place that people used to put people in psych wards to get rid of them and isolate them and make sure they weren't part of society. So just being in that environment, it's different now, but you still feel like you are locked up so that you won't negatively impact the lives of people around you. And it's not a good feeling. I really just hope that with this channel and sharing my experiences directly with you, that I'll help people feel less alone, and that people who don't have a mental illness or who don't have my mental illness can understand it a little better. I think mental health is on a continuum. I personally believe that everyone can experience a mental health issue, and so I really think that we all need to do better to understand mental illness and understand how we can help each other. So I'm really going to try with this channel to create a support system, to create tools to really help people improve their mental health, so that we can all live the life that we're meant to live, that we can all live a life that makes us happy and fulfilled and meaningful and with purpose. So thank you so much for listening today, and please subscribe if you like this video. I do upload blog articles 3 times a week at slaygirlsociety.com without fail, even if I have to force it out of me. I really make sure that to keep that consistent so that my readers have a place to go to feel less alone. So thank you again. Like this video and give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and see you soon. Bye!